Hi, hunters. Thank you for tuning into the Flush'em and Dustin podcast brought to you by Nick and Tyler, the boys from Ringnecks and Retrievers. In this podcast, we will talk about guns, dogs, gear, and our successes and failures in the field through our combined 40 years of experience. We speak with hunters just like you from across the nation about their days in the field and the many memories they built with their friends and family. We are excited to have you listen. Now let's get to Flushing and Dustin.
Hey hunters, welcome back to Ringnecks and Retrievers. Appreciate you guys being back on the Flushman and Dustin podcast, listening in. Tonight we got Nick as well as a special guest, Travis. He's also known as ND Upland or North Dakota Upland on Instagram. So you're going to have to check him out there. Make sure you guys drop down in our description, check out all the sponsors we got so you can help keep this podcast going. We appreciate that. We're going to get into it with Travis. We actually started following each other on Instagram a few months back. He's got a beautiful looking black lab. Obviously lives in North Dakota. So Travis, if you want to introduce yourself, tell you how you got started on birds, talk about your black lab, and we'll just go from there, all right?
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys having me on. It's going to be fun. Travis Mithun, live in southeast North Dakota with my wife, Leslie. We have 3 children, Russell, who's 5, Lydia is 3, and then Thomas, who's 7 months old. And we have a black lab female named Kirby, who's...
I like that name.
Yeah, 7.5 years old this year, going on her 8th hunting season.
Okay.
So I was originally born in Cody, Wyoming, out by Yellowstone. And didn't move out to North Dakota until 2012. So I was lucky enough to have parents that introduced me to the outdoors at a super young age, hunting, fishing, camping, anything outside. Did a lot of chasing elk, deer, pronghorn around throughout my time there, as you can see. Yep, as you can see, got.
By the way.
What's that?
How big are those elk, like score-wise?
So the one against that firewall is like 345, and then the one right behind me is like 330. So pretty nice elk. I'm pretty lucky there.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a good score for elk is.
Anything over 300 is a really good elk, I would say. A 6x6 is solid. So, and I mean, it took me 12 years of hunting to get those. So it's we put in a lot of time and effort, but still pretty fortunate.
Tyler's just been hunting 12 years, and he finally got his first pheasant this last year.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Everyone's on their own time. It's all right.
I'm just fucking with
you. But we did have bird dogs growing up. My dad had a Brittany and then 2 Springer Spaniels. But bird hunting was pretty spotty where we were at. We hunted a lot of pen-raised birds that were released into some public land.
Yep.
Gets hit hard. People know when they're going to release birds. You got to be there at the right times. So I find
that so weird. Like they don't do that in Iowa. I know they do that in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Let's release birds and tell the public when we're going to release them so you can go kill them. What the fuck?
Right. It's the only place I've heard of it, and it was normal to me. Hunting that, and I remember just putting in miles, and we'd get one hen that wouldn't get up, and the dogs would get it, or so something like that.
You could shoot hens too.
Any bird. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep. So
like a game farm, but
exactly, it is. But yeah, it's not as many birds. If you get one, you're lucky. But my dad is originally from North Dakota, so we'd come back maybe twice a year. Sharptail opener, pheasant opener, and get some hunting in, but nothing crazy. Then I moved out here in 2012. My wife got a teaching job, followed her out here. And
hopefully she's staying safe during COVID.
Yes, she is. It's a pretty stressful time, but we're doing good. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, she got a teaching job. I followed her out here, and just living out here, it was like, all right, like I got to get a bird dog. So
Yes. So what brought you to the lab? I guess what was your choice on that?
Yeah, so when I was probably a freshman or sophomore in college, my dad got a black lab named Tori, and like she just lit a fire in my dad and me for bird hunting. Um, he would come out to North Dakota with his brothers and friends, and hearing their stories. I wasn't able to go with them being in college. Hearing their stories um, kind of just flipped a switch for me. When I had the opportunity, I was going to get a dog, and it was going to be a black lab.
Yep.
And then, I was able to hunt with her my first year out here, and she was just unbelievable. It was the best dog I've ever seen. I haven't been around a lot of bird dogs at that point, but she was just awesome to watch. She just worked every dog into the ground. She's just unreal.
Nice.
And so after that first year being in North Dakota, I said, I have to get my own. I got her in July of 2013, and then had her out that fall chasing sharptail and pheasants. So
Quick turnaround with her.
yeah.
So how has she progressed? Have you seen a lot of, like, I mean, obviously as a young dog, you brought her out.
Mm-hmm.
How old was she? 6 months old on her
Yep.
first hunt.
Yep.
And kind of what'd you do? Obviously, as a young dog, there's a lot to learn. What'd you do to help her kind of get ready for that first season? And then after your first season, you probably learned a lot about your dog and what needed to be worked on. What'd you kind of do to prepare yourself for her second and then seasons past that?
Yeah. So yeah, I was 23 when I got her, and I had no idea what I was doing. Relied a lot on books, online resources, and then my dad for advice that he had.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to train her myself and take that on. And I probably didn't do the greatest job, not knowing it a lot, not having the patience that I should have. But yeah, taking her on that first hunt, grouse hunt, and all she did was follow the other dogs around.
Yeah.
Just having a good time, enjoying it. But we got her around birds, and that, socializing, that was huge. And then we took her up to pheasant opener, and it was just my dad and I on that first walk, and with Tori, and she just the she flipped that switch.
Yep.
It took a couple retrieves following Tori. Then I knocked down a bird. She was on it right away, saw it. Perfect scenario. And she came dragging that thing out by the neck. She couldn't lift it up. But
Yep.
I look at my dad. He looks at me. We're all smiling. He had tears in his eyes. I definitely didn't. But
don't worry, Nick cries all the time.
I do every time I miss a damn bird. Throw my gun at the ground and
right.
I'm done for the day.
Throw a little fit.
Poor sport, yeah.
Yeah, right. But ever since then, she's just improved every year as far as her drive and pushing me to want to hunt more.
Yeah.
It's been great. She's been a great dog. Can't ask for anything more.
Travis, I want to piggyback off something you said. You said
Mhm.
that when she was young, she followed the bird dog. Now,
Yep.
I paid to have Diesel trained, so
Mhm.
the only credit I can take is that I reinforced everything that he got taught.
Yep.
Now, when I took him out with, it wasn't so much Murph, it was more Lola, because she was like under one when we first went hunting with her.
Okay.
And Diesel, she was super young. I think he was kind of on his own schedule, but Lola will now point because Diesel was a pointing lab, and she started pointing.
Interesting.
Last year, we found out that she would follow him around, and he would point. Now, last year, she started pointing into the season, and I don't know if that's
right.
because of Diesel. I mean, I can't say, oh yeah, it's 100%. I don't know. Maybe it's in her line too, but
right.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, right?
Right. It's kind of the big indicator.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was cool too. You said you brought him out super young, and Nick and I brought Diesel out. South Dakota. What was that, like 5 years ago?
5 years ago was when he was just one.
Yeah, he was super young, and it was kind of his first really pheasant hunting experience. And it's crazy to see just how much he's progressed from that first year. And it's just, for listeners, I mean, just getting your dog on the birds, as many
Yes.
birds as you can.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people, I think, are worried about, having that awesome delivery, in the field, and make sure the dog's holding it perfect, But it's like, man, you just got to get that dog on birds, have them bring
Yep.
it back. When they're young like that, you can't expect them to have a perfect retrieve and whatnot. And I think sometimes people focus on that a little too much. But yeah, getting your dog on birds is just huge.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think, for Diesel and probably Tyler's dogs too. I know like 2.5 going into year 3. It was on. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep. Yep.
he turned it to another level. And I just texted Tyler this today. I said, you know, this year he turned 6, so I didn't really train him that much all summer. It's kind of hot out. He's kind of
Mm-hmm.
getting that older stage. So what I did is
Yeah.
I cut his food back and we walked. We literally walked 3 to 4
Yeah.
times a week, about 2.5 miles depending on where we went.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting out and I'm training him, as you can see on our Instagram page. I'm really putting him through the paces. And I said, God, I feel like he's in mid season form already. Like it's just crazy, just like taking those little aspects and adding it in. So I'm actually expecting this year to be his best year yet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to treat those wily vets a little different, I think.
Yeah.
Give
Yeah.
Yep.
them their rest.
Yep.
After that walk yesterday that we went on, she was sore. It's,
Yep.
So
you know,
did you go? It was Sharptail opener yesterday.
yes, it was. Yep, North Dakota opened on Saturday there.
Nice.
How many did you get?
We got 3, the limit, North
Okay.
Dakota.
Oh,
Yep. So yeah, it was a great day.
do you hit up mainly public ground, or is you got private ground up there?
Yeah, so in southeastern North Dakota, where I'm at, there's not a lot of public ground. We do have a thing called plots, North Dakota. It's private land open to sportsmen, kind of like block management, Montana, walk-in areas.
Okay.
Yep, similar. Um, but those get hit really hard early.
Oh yeah.
And I like to hit them early. There's really good stuff out there. There's not as much anymore with crop prices the way they are and kind of influx there. Um, but locally, I do hunt a lot of private land for pheasants, but I know most of the landowners that I hunt, and I'm
Yep.
familiar with them over the years. Or I'll give them a call if it's a new property, kind of explain where I'm going to be at, make sure I'm not infringing on anything they got going on.
Yep.
And I think that goes a long way. Um, but where I'm at, I would say mostly private, probably 75%.
Nice.
Yep.
That's rare, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Tyler and I are 80, 90%, I'd say public.
Oh, really? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's where we're at. I mean, in Iowa, I don't know. I think if we went and asked more farmers, we'd probably get on more private ground.
Right.
There is a lot of opportunity in
Yep.
Iowa, kind of some good plots that we go on, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But so yesterday on opener, tell us a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about it. Tell us about the day.
So,
Yeah.
how do you is Sharpies hunting? Is that just you just
Yeah.
hunt those like pheasant? Like I've never hunted them damn things. Like
Sharpies are different because if you're trying to kick up a pheasant, you're not going to kick up a Sharpie. It's just totally different cover. You're looking for that like ankle high, shin high grass brush for
Okay.
Sharpies.
oh
So yeah, yesterday we woke up at 5 a.m. I got to travel 2 hours to get to a decent Sharpie spot. And we got out there right at sunrise. Took off, which you probably shouldn't do. You want to let them get to where they're gonna feed,
yep.
and then maybe come back. But we were way too excited. We couldn't we couldn't hold off.
Understandable.
Yep.
Yeah. It's been a long summer. But we took off. We saw like 7 or 8 dump into this wheat field to the south of this state section that we were walking. And then geez, we ended up walking for an hour straight, like hard. I bet we covered 2.5 miles in that hour, and just came up bone dry, nothing. Got way back in deep. She got birdie on some buckbrush. It's like shrubs that are knee high, I would say, kind of where I think they bedded up. Came up over this rise, jumped a group of 10, missed the first shot, obviously, and then dumped one the second shot. She brought it to me, and I watched where they landed. And we tried to get on them again, and we walked for another hour, I would say, and just couldn't find them. And we're just working our way back to the truck. And I was hoping that they'd come out of this wheat field back into the cover, and we'd kind of hit them on our way back. Probably about 100 yards from the truck, I come up and there's this little nice draw, that shin high grass that you're looking for, and it just erupted with sharptail. And you never really get into really big flocks, or I haven't anyways, maybe other people do, but 5, 6, 7 at a time. There's like 30 birds in here.
Oh wow.
And it just blew up, and of course missed the first shot again. Drop another one. She goes and gets it. As I'm reloading, 3 more get up, and I blast off 2 and miss. But I watch them sail, and they can fly like a mile, 3/4 of a mile.
Oh.
So we watch them dump in about a half mile away, and the truck's right there. And I'm thinking, we're soaking wet. It was raining, just covered in water. It's like, truck's right there. We could just call it a day. We got 2 birds. That's pretty dang good. I don't care if we get 3. But she had a good energy. I had good energy. First hunt of the year, I said, why not? So we took off, get to where I saw them dump in, again in some buckbrush. She gets really birdie, like just going nuts. So I get ready, and of course she kicks up 1 grouse, I don't know, probably 15 yards away. Boom, boom, nothing. Just like picture perfect crossing shot, what you think of in your mind, and I just blew it. It's like shit.
What are you shooting?
I shoot a 12 gauge.
Over and under, or what?
Yeah, over and under Franchi.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, only 2 shots. I blew it. And I'm like shaking my head, and like,
that's what she said.
Yeah. I go up over this rise, and I bump into that group of 30 again.
Oh no.
And I take 1 shot this time, drop my 3rd bird. Kirby goes and gets it, and we make the long trek back to the truck. But talk about like just a hunt that we needed after the summer, everything going on.
Yeah.
Whatever side you're on, it's just been crazy. And for that 2.5, 3 hours, it's just, able to clear your mind, get out and walk, be with your bird dog all alone, middle of nowhere. It was great.
What are the bird numbers like in North Dakota? Are they comparable? So in my experience, South Dakota is the place to go. But is it the place to go? Like, I mean, you have maybe more experience than we do.
Yeah.
Up in those areas.
And I'm super biased. I'd say North Dakota is where it's at. But I've never hunted South Dakota, so I really can't say. Bird numbers are getting very good. They're going to be very good this year.
Nice.
Like I said, I've never seen a group of Sharpies like that. That's a very good indicator of the winter we had previous years. The pheasants I'm seeing on the roads, the chicks, the broods, it's going to be really good talking to the farmers. They're seeing real good numbers. It's going to be a good year. I think it'll probably be one of the better years in the last, I've been here 8 years. It'll probably be the best year in the last 8 years, I would say, as far as North Dakota goes. And they used to have unreal numbers like 10, 12 years ago. I heard it was just lights out. But they're getting back up there. I think it's going to be good.
Well, we had a couple mild winters. I guess this year was pretty mild and didn't really rain too much until just this last week here in Iowa. Rained like 5 days straight. But other than that, but the hatch is already done, so those birds should survive. So
yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Do you so for pheasant, you said you hunt mainly private ground with the farmers and whatnot.
Yep.
Do they have like big grass areas? You more waterway type bird hunting, or?
Yeah. So I guess one thing I should say about private land in North Dakota is if it's not posted, you can legally hunt it. I don't know if it's like that where
So,
you guys are
like,
at.
it doesn't
No,
say no hunting.
you hunted now. We're getting shot.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, that's how it is in Wyoming growing up.
So,
So if it's,
what do you
yeah,
mean
it's
posted? Like, if it says doesn't say no hunting, you can just drive in the field and hunt it.
correct. Yep. Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal.
So do you actually get to call rights to this land then? Like, do they post it that you can't hunt it then?
No, I don't personally do that. No,
Okay.
as far as, posting it for my own good, I haven't done that. But there is people that lease it out or
Yep.
whatever that would be posted, then you can't go in there without permission.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's no poster on the corners or a gate to a property, you are free to hunt it.
Oh,
I still like
man.
to try and contact the landowner
Yeah.
if I can. If there's cattle or a house nearby or something. But as far as ground that we cover, we have a lot of wheat, corn, and bean fields. And then along those are sloughs like cattail sloughs, tree rows. I would say what we like to hunt is cattail sloughs, that thick cover
Yeah.
for birds. If you can find a cattail slough in the middle of a cornfield, that's like the ticket. That's my favorite.
I'm taking notes on that.
Yeah, right.
Cattail slough, middle of the
Yep.
cornfield.
Do you hunt wheat stubble? I know I've seen some people post about that. I don't know how that works, but
Yeah, we don't really hunt it exclusively. Those birds, those pheasants will run out there and they'll duck their heads down. You can't even see them in that stubble. They'll just take off and
yeah.
almost be invisible.
Yeah, they basically run like horizontal.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
exactly.
running
And
horizontal, Nick. They're running on the ground.
Well, they fucking turn their body. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
you gotta spell everything out.
Yeah, shit.
But it's super hard because they just run. They just take off. So that's why we like to hunt the cover that'll hold them a little tighter, so you can
Yeah.
get in a little closer.
What is hunting in the winter up there like? I mean, don't you guys have like a shit ton of snow and
Yeah,
cold as hell?
yeah, it's brutal.
Oh,
But give me like a 10-degree day with 8 inches of fresh snow, and that's
oh
That's
man,
money. That's money
I'll
right there.
hunt all day, and it keeps people inside, so I can kind of be
Well,
by
not only
myself.
that, but having a a lab or retriever, that's what makes them great. They
Yep,
they
absolutely.
don't freeze up. I actually hunted with a Vizsla. I don't know if it was probably 2 years ago now, but we were out hunting, and actually we were doing a hunting competition. I think I told Tyler about this.
yeah,
And we went out, and Diesel was slaying him. It was cold. It was snow, touching his belly. And the Vizsla is not very big. And Diesel and I, so had to get 10 birds in an hour. And you can have 2 dogs, 2 people. That's it.
Oh
Go.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you get 20 shells. So each person gets 10 shells.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go. And we ended up, Diesel and I ended up getting 7. And that dog got
Wow.
1. I was like, I'm like, man, if you just done your part,
Right.
we
Yeah.
probably would have won. I was like, shit.
it was
So,
crazy.
so damn cold during it, wasn't it?
what's that?
Wasn't the dog freezing during
Yeah,
the?
that's my point. Like having a retriever or lab, like Diesel he wasn't cold at all. This Vizsla just like completely froze up, and he had
Yeah.
a vest. He had a vest on her too, and she was so small, so short haired. Her picking her
Right.
paws up. Diesel was
Mhm.
like kid on Sunday, just
Right.
running around having fun, lollipops in his mouth.
Yeah, I take the snowshoes out to certain locations if I have to.
Oh,
Oh
did you?
wow.
Yeah, if the snow's that deep. We did it last year. I mean, it sucks, and I get just whipped doing it.
Yeah.
And the dog, is post holing all the way through the snow. But if you can get back into some of those spots that people haven't touched in a month, it's some
Amazing.
awesome hunting. So
Yeah.
So when it's pheasant season there, can you hunt Sharpies too? Like
Yep.
is they intermingle?
Yeah, so Sharpie starts this weekend. And I think that goes all the way to first weekend in January,
A-
and
And
then
what's the
pheasant will
limit
open
on
October.
pheasant?
Pheasant is 3,
3? Okay.
along with Sharpies is 3, partridge is 3.
Okay.
Yep.
When does
So
pheasant open in North Dakota?
This year I think it's October 11th, or that weekend,
Man,
somewhere in
we're
there.
getting gypped here in Iowa. We're always the last weekend in October.
Jesus.
Oh, really? That's late.
Yeah, it
It's
is
such a
late.
short season.
Huh. Yeah. When does it end?
January
First weekend
10th.
of January.
Okay. You
Yeah.
see, South Dakota just extended theirs to the end of January,
I
right?
saw that. So we're going there day after Black Friday.
Oh,
So like
nice.
Saturday. So we're leaving, and then we're hunting till that Wednesday. Come back Thursday. Um, but I'm thinking about, so in South Dakota, I don't know if this is the same with North Dakota. You can buy, when you buy your license, it's 2 5-day passes basically.
Yep, that's the same. North
Okay.
Dakota, I guess
Yeah. So
14 days or something. Yep.
so my wife is actually pregnant. We're having a baby in December at some
Oh,
point,
nice.
and then I was thinking about maybe if I could wing it, maybe I just, I get a little paternity leave, might just wing out there in
You take
January
advantage,
for a quick one,
take
Oh, I don't
advantage of all of it, right?
That'd be sweet.
Yeah,
tell her mom to come down for a week.
right.
Hey, you want to come
Yeah,
down? Shit,
spend some time.
you don't need me.
Right. No, you don't. Not at that time.
No, I can't breastfeed, So
So did you get out and do any? Do they have dove hunting up in North Dakota? That's
They
what's
do. Yeah. So that opened the first. Actually, the in-laws were in town last weekend, and the wife and I snuck away and sat in the field for a couple hours. Shot some doves. So yeah,
sounds
it's
like
always fun.
sounds like your wife probably outshoots you since you miss quite
Yeah,
often.
yeah, she definitely does. She's way more patient and yeah, understanding. I just throw a little fit and miss the next shot. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you there.
yeah.
Did you do you cook them up? I did. I went dove hunting the other week and tried it for the first time with dove poppers,
Oh yeah, yep,
jalapenos, cream cheese, and bacon.
yeah.
And
That's
that
a
was
favorite.
legit. I
Yeah,
was very surprised with that.
super good.
Is that how
Yeah,
you do it, or?
yeah, we do that. This last time, in-laws again, they haven't had a dove before. Just cooked them in butter with salt and pepper, and we had them for breakfast with eggs. And it was like, they just melt in your mouth. That meat,
Yeah,
it's just
steak and eggs,
unreal.
dove.
Yeah, yeah, right,
Nice.
exactly.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, they enjoyed it, so must have tasted all right.
Yeah.
So I don't know North Dakota actually at all.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody was coming to North Dakota to do just a bird hunt, let's
Mm-hmm.
say they want a mixed bag, like you're
Yeah.
talking sharpies, pheasant, all that.
Yep.
Where would you recommend them heading to? Obviously, you said you drove 2 hours from where you're at, and you're on the east
Right.
side of North Dakota. So,
Yep.
what are those towns? What are those areas for some of the listeners that want to head that way?
Yeah, for sure. So first thing I would do, North Dakota Game and Fish does a great thing where they kind of publish the harvest data from the previous years on the top counties.
Yep.
I can't rattle those off the top of my head as for each species, but definitely would check that out. If you want to get into Sharptail, Grouse, and Partridge, I'd look more in the central part of the state. So between south of Bismarck and Jamestown,
Okay.
and then also the northwest corner of the state. And that's where the northwest corner of the state is where we go as a family for pheasant opener. And we run into Sharptail, Partridge, Grouse. If you guys want to hunt ducks, geese, like piles of them
Well,
coming
yeah, I
in
mean
from
that's coming
Canada
from
up there.
Canada.
Yeah, so as far as like hunting opportunity, that I'm gonna get killed for saying this. That northwest corner is, I think, the best part of the state. Um, it, we have really good pheasant hunting down here, and I travel 6 hours to go up there. It kind of,
So
it
that's
says
six
something.
hours from you.
Yeah,
So for
yeah,
us, I think it's Iowa to roughly North Dakota. I think it's 8 from where
yeah,
I at. Tyler's 2 hours from me.
Man, that would
So
be a hell of a drive.
so we'd have 16-hour drive to get up there.
yeah, just to get there.
Sounds like
Yep,
a trip.
Yeah,
right.
that's a long trip. Yep. That'd
Yeah,
be fun
but
though.
if you guys come up like South Central, where I was hunting sharptails, there's not a lot of pheasants there. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because mostly pasture land, a lot of cattle grazing.
Yep.
That's not that far, and then you could come east, an hour or two, and run into pheasants. So
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not bad.
yeah,
But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go to the Northwest. I'm not
yeah, I would, yeah,
I'm gonna take my time and spend.
yeah, right. And for somebody trying to plan a trip on your own, hit up people on social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't ask for specific locations at the beginning. But me, I'm more than happy to share any knowledge I can. If that gets somebody up here, gets them with a new bird dog, old bird dog, doesn't matter. If it gets them up here, I'm all about it, and I will share as much as I can to help you and get you on birds. It might be the wrong direction, sometimes, but I'll try and help you out.
Right.
I
Yeah,
think
I mean
there's more
that's
people out there that are willing to do that.
that's what this like we kind of started this podcast. We just believe in hunters helping hunters, and
Right.
bringing the good out in everybody, and trying to be
Exactly.
conservationists, and
Yep.
it's just cool to connect with somebody like you who otherwise we would have never met you.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
get
That's
on
pretty
here, and
crazy.
hell, who knows? Maybe someday we grab a hunt together.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
So, Travis, can you give us a couple good stories with you and your bird dog out in the field? We want to hear.
Yeah. So, man, I kind of already shared that first hunt. That one's kind of memorable for me. I'd probably go 2 years ago. Is when I started really getting into figuring out Sharptail, kind of figuring out where they're at, where they feed, what they do. Picked this public spot off Onyx Maps, off a whim. Went there opener, and we walked. I think I walked 10 miles that day.
Oh shit!
It's a good day.
Really good day. How many miles does a bird dog cover when they're in front of you?
Jesus.
Man,
And you're walking
what kind
10.
of boots you wearing? Walking 10 miles. What kind of boots?
Yeah. So at that time, I had on a pair of like cheap Under Armour boots. Absolutely terrible. Like just, they'd fall apart after 20, 30 miles.
Yeah.
Right now I've had these Schnee's boots, Timberlines, for 2 years now, and they're just, I don't know what I did without them. I was kind of an idiot not to buy them earlier.
I don't know that I heard of
Yeah,
those.
they're based out of Bozeman, Montana.
Okay.
How do you spell that?
SCHNEES.
SCHNNES. All
Wrote
right.
it down. I'm looking for
Yep.
some boots right now anyway.
There you
So
go.
Are
Yeah,
they
I'd recommend them.
waterproof and whatnot?
Yeah. Yep. I'll do like the Nix Wax stuff on them
Okay.
to condition them. But yeah, I mean, as far as keeping your feet dry, I can't believe I didn't do it years ago.
Yeah.
But that hunt, we walked 10 miles, and I think it was mile like 6. We finally bumped like 3 birds, and I dropped one, and probably the most satisfying bird out of our years together as far as hours. We picked the spot on the map. Didn't really pan out. There weren't a ton of birds, but we found them. We outworked the odds, and it was just a great experience. And ever since I want to sharptail hunting has kind of piqued my interest ever since then to figure them out. And this year is kind of proven that after that first hunt. So
I think that brings up something important for the listeners too. So, when Tyler and I first went to South Dakota, we did the easy walks, if you will,
Yep.
for birds. Walking the fence lines, thinking,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, guess what? We got one damn bird the first year out there. One bird.
Right.
So obviously, and we called DNR officers before we went out there. We thought we did our homework. Like,
Yep.
we thought, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. We went back to the drawing board, started reading. Like, all right, what the hell are we missing? We feel like we've been doing this, long enough in Iowa. We always get birds, so we just started hunting everything different. So wherever somebody else would park and wherever we think they would hunt, we're completely opposite.
Yep.
Go right to the middle. Go,
Mm-hmm.
go back to the corner. Whatever the case may be. And last year when we were in South Dakota, it proved us successful.
Did it?
So yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Travis, you mentioned something like that earlier, even with this hunt on the public ground that you did yesterday. You said, you walked way back.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, obviously you got some when you were coming back to the truck, but
Yep.
you got to like put in the work, especially on public ground, to be able to find those birds.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
They say to be successful, you don't want to take the path of least resistance. Well, that holds true for bird hunting too.
Yeah. Oh,
you got to get in there
100%.
get stabbed up by them rose bushes and walk through them damn things, and
Right. Yeah.
man,
And part of it's you want to prove it to your dog, right? That
Yeah.
yeah,
they're willing to go out there and they'll follow you to the end of the earth.
yep,
So you kind of owe it to them to, to push past. And not that I don't like people and interacting with other hunters, but I don't want to be around other hunters when I'm out there.
yep,
I'll walk a mile before I start hitting pheasant cover.
yep.
If that's the case, that's what it takes. I'll do it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, last year we walked. Tyler, you can correct me if this is wrong. I believe it was right around 55 miles in our.
Maybe 4
We were
days.
there for 3.5, 2.5 days,
holy
basically.
smokes,
3 days, 3 days.
that's pretty dang good.
Yeah. So imagine what our dogs. I mean, they
Yeah.
probably did. They probably did over 100.
It's just crazy to think about.
Yeah, because
And
I put my phone on to track my steps,
Yep.
and it was 55 miles. We ended up
Holy
doing.
smokes. Yeah, that's crazy. It's a lot of
We
miles.
that's right, isn't it, Tyler?
yeah, it was somewhere right around that number. I
Yeah,
didn't.
it was
I
right
don't.
around 50, 55. Like it was insane. And I looked at him and I go, "Can you believe that we did not break. We literally hunted
Hmm.
the field, hopped in the truck. So in the morning, is it the same there where you can't hunt till 10
No, you can
pheasants?
hunt at sunrise.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
sweet.
yeah, so we can't hunt till 10. So every morning we'd scout like all our fields out, right? All right, we're gonna go
Hmm.
here, go back to here, go to here, and we would literally just go boom, 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 boom every day. And then we were 2 hours away from
Man.
our Airbnb, so we drive 2 hours. We wouldn't get back to our
Oh
Airbnb till
man.
like 8:30, and then
Right.
we thought, oh, let's have a beer. Well, we have a beer and about half sleeping. Go to bed, wake up, do the same thing all over again.
Right.
It was a great trip, but I learned that it wasn't as fun as I wanted it to be because
Mhm.
we pushed so hard. We pushed our
Hmm.
dogs so hard. Like our dogs, I mean, they were done. I mean, every
Yeah,
day they were
I
just
bet.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's great.
So can you tell us the story about your elk behind you?
Yeah. Um, I'll go this first one here that's directly behind me.
All right.
So like I said, I grew up elk hunting whole life, never had shot a bull, shot a handful of cows. I was in college when I drew this tag and it was like 3-4% odds or something like that. Super low. My dad, my sister drew the tag also. Um, Came home for school for Thanksgiving and walked up the first morning. First light we see, I think it was like 10 or 12 elk just heading straight up this mountain. And it was knee-high snow. It just snowed that night. My dad was with me. He said just take off and try and cut them off. Slipped up this ridge, got within 200. This bull was right in the front. Nice, beautiful 6x6. I didn't care if it was a bull and I had a shot at it. I was gonna take it.
Did you do it
200 yards
with a bow? Did you say that?
rifle. This is
Rifle.
rifle hunting.
Okay.
So this is like late November. So the bulls are all herded up. Um, 200 yards, shoot, hit it perfect. I come up over this rise, and it was still alive, and it actually got up and ran like 80 yards, stopped, turned to me, shot again, and just dropped it right there. Then my dad came huffing it up the hill, gave me a big hug. But that, I don't know how many years of work that was, 11, 12 years, just to that
That's
point, it was awesome.
Wow.
It was a pretty cool moment. And then, so the next one, the one that's bugling on that far wall, drew the same tag the next year with, kind of unheard of, drawing that tag twice in a row.
So is it drawn per? Is the draw per like county or per area? Is that what the
Yep,
draw is?
per area.
And then
Yep,
is that like public land that you're hunting on then?
this was public land. Yep,
But then
this is all public.
nobody else can hunt that because you drew that land. Is that how that works?
No, there was, I think, 50 tags for that area, bull tags
Okay.
given out, which is a very low number for how big the area was.
Okay.
So it's considered a trophy unit, I guess. But that far one, we walked back in, I don't know, probably 4 miles that day. That morning I saw, this bull turn into the trees, and I just saw like this palmation on this side. It's just a bunch of points sticking up. I'm like, that's a giant. He's probably 7x7 on each side. So we ended up just backing out that day, coming in the next morning, getting up earlier, walking back 4 miles so we can get to where they were feeding right at first light. And
Man,
sure enough,
I'm freaking excited. Like, I want to do this.
you guys should do it. Get to where they're at, and sure enough, he's in there with like 6 other bulls. Seemed like forever for him to give me a shot. It's in like this chest high sagebrush. You can't see him. You see his rack go down, and you see this palmation come down, up and down, and eventually got set up on my pack. I think the shot, I wasn't shooting my rifle, I was shooting a good friend of ours who does some long range shooting, and it was like 400 yards. He dialed me in, one trigger, drop, perfect shot. He just hit the deck right there. And then getting up.
Was that a 7mm or what was that?
Yeah, it was 7 mag. Yep.
That's a hell of a bullet.
Yeah, and get up there. My dad was watching up on a ridge. He wasn't even by us. Get up there, and it's this beautiful, heavy 8x7.
Oh no.
Just old bull. Yeah, it's awesome. And then you realize you're like 5 miles back.
Yeah, I was packing that thing out.
It's like, oh, we got to pack this out. So we had a game cart that we hauled some meat down, came up with this game cart so we could get it to, there's kind of this 2-track road. A guy does some logging up there. And me and my dad are just dying. Our family friend left us. And it was terrible. It was like just miserable. And we see these headlights coming down the mountain, and we're like, no way. It's like a sign from God, this person coming down from the mountain, And sure enough, it was the guy that was owned some land and was logging. He goes, oh yeah, I'll drive you right up to it. So we drove within 100 yards of this bull because it was kind of butted up to his land. And I think my dad slipped him some cash, some thank you cash.
Oh,
because
for
he
sure.
probably saved our lives. Honestly, we were so tired. We were just out of shape and not prepared for it. But
do you get worried about predators out there then when you're like, was it wolves out there? Probably bear.
Yeah, that late, the bears. I'm not so worried about wolves, but I've had a couple run-ins with bears, grizzlies that turned me off to it. That's why we didn't really bow hunt when I lived there.
Yeah.
Let's hear that. I hear that story.
Ammo.
Right. So first time, Dad and I were out camping up in Sunlight, up by Cody, about an hour from our house, and just camping summer night, like 1 a.m. I'd say I woke up and I just heard this deep inhale breathing. I'm like, wake my dad up, and we don't have a pistol. Usually we have a pistol. It's like, what are we doing? We have bear spray. And he's like, all right, unzip the tent. When you do that, I'll hold the bear spray. And if he's right there, it sounded like he was right outside our tent. I'm going to hit him with that bear spray. So I unzip that tent. That bear takes off, knocks over our camp chairs. We didn't really get a glimpse at him, but we heard him. And so we hop in the truck, and we're sleeping in the truck the rest of the night.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't fall asleep because I'm like scared as hell. And if this thing comes back, I want to see it. Sure enough, that thing came back. I'm probably exaggerating, but I was in my dad's big diesel truck, and he was probably 30 yards away, and he was like eye level looking at me. Like I thought a giant bear. I wake my dad up again, and he's like, oh yeah. And so he turns on his headlights to try, because he walked in front of the truck to try and get a good look. Well, he's behind a hill. And so we turn them off, and then the dome lights come in inside. So he can see inside. Yeah, he can't see out. And we're like, freaking out for a second. They go off, and we see him walk off. But, that scared the hell out of us. The other time we were shed hunting, spotted a shed half-mile away on another ridge. I'm like, I'll just go walk and get it and come back while you guys glass other stuff. I get over there, pick up the shed, start walking back, and I see my dad and our buddy like waving their hands, And I'm thinking, oh, there's another shed up here, and they're going to direct me to it, and they're kind of pointing behind me. I turn around and there's a grizzly like probably 80, 100 yards behind me, just kind of moseying out right where I was. And I looked back, turned around, and I just made a beeline as, quietly as I could, as fast as I could, up to them. And that bear, I don't think he ever saw me, or he just didn't care. But yeah, another close call that just makes you
Oh,
Imagine how
get a little
like,
willy.
seeing a grizzly that close. I'd be like,
Yeah,
man, it's a
it's
big.
something else. Yeah, it really is. They are unreal animals. But
we were hiking out. God, was it in by the Grand Tetons? I don't remember. It was there or Yellowstone?
hmm
My wife and I were hunting out there, and we only saw a black bear, but it was I. So we were up on a ridge, and we were walking down. It's
hmm
like switchbacks going back and forth down all the way down, and I could see it from up top. I'm like, "Hey, there's a bear down there," and she's like, "How the hell did you see that?" And it was in these weeds.
yeah.
And we get down there, and I'm like, "The bear was in these weeds." She's like, "Are you sure?" And sure as shit, somebody was coming up the bottom of the hill, and we were gonna go down. And all of a sudden, this bear didn't see us, but it saw them and stood up on its hind
Oh
legs.
man.
And then I told Bree, who's my wife, I said, you need to. And the whole trip, I carried a pistol with me.
hmm
This time, did not take it. Same thing, did not
Right.
take
Yeah.
it.
Right.
And she's like, you didn't bring your fucking pistol. I'm like, no, I didn't bring my pistol, but I had bear spray, so I
Yeah.
uncapped it, and I'm like, ah, geez. And I said, I think you need to ring that bell, so that way when those people start coming up, it doesn't turn and run like right at us.
Right.
So she like started like barely like hitting it, and then it looks at us. I'm like, ah, geez. Then it went down, and we couldn't even see it then.
Yeah.
So then we just started walking back up the hill, and we got back up to where you could like look down. And I don't know where the hell it went,
Yeah.
but yeah, those people ended up coming up though once it went down.
Oh really?
I was like,
I would
no
have turned around.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
No
like, no
thanks.
way would I do
Not
that.
worth it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what
So I
that.
like living out here. I'll deal with coyotes any day.
Yeah.
Speaking of coyotes, what's
Yeah.
what's the coyote hunting terms out there?
Um.
Can
A
you
lot
can
of
you
guys.
spotlight? Can you?
You No, you can't use spotlights, but you can hunt them in a full moon.
No.
So you can shoot at night. And I think they just, I might be wrong here, legalized night vision scopes to where you can use those,
Oh, nice.
or infrared or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I mean, there's still good numbers. There's always going to be good numbers. They
Yeah,
seem to never go away.
Yeah.
no.
Um, just the other day, I heard some howling 15 minutes from our place. So yeah, they're always there.
Yeah. Do you guys live like in town, or are you kind of out in the country?
Yeah, so we live in a town, Enderlin, North Dakota. It's like 1,000 people.
Oh, that's a good town.
So pretty much in the country. So I can hop in my truck and be pheasant hunting in about 2 minutes.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Perfect.
it's yeah, you can't beat it really. Some of our favorite spots are 5-10 minutes away. So pretty much in the country, I'd say.
Yeah.
Pretty rural.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Our spots are western Iowa, I would say. We got a couple up by Tyler, but mostly western Iowa. If we go out to western Iowa, so it's about an hour and a half ish,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
2 hours.
That's not
Yeah, so
that's not terrible.
it's not, but we don't really around like I'm in Des Moines, which is the biggest city in
Mm-hmm.
Iowa, so that it gets hit hard around here if there's anything close because nobody wants to drive and go anywhere.
Yep.
And same thing with Tyler. He's up by Cedar Rapids, and there's what the hell is it called? What's the I
I
can't think of
have.
it. No, but the big recreational place there that's just like all public land. What the hell is that called?
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Hawkeye Wildlife Area.
yeah, so the Hawkeye Wildlife
Okay.
Area, they got like it's huge.
Like thousands
Mm-hmm.
of acres. Yeah.
Yeah, but people are
Holy
there all
smokes.
people are there
I'm
all the time.
sure. Yep. Yep.
That's where they go. That's where all the townies go because that's what
And
they
it's
want
kind
to
of
go.
like
Right.
it's like a bottom area, so it's just like gross and I don't know. I don't really.
Yeah.
It's not really fun to get.
So like on a Saturday at 10 a.m., is there just groups waiting to just hit it hard?
Yeah, so we can
Yeah,
hunt here at 8 a.m. in Iowa.
Oh,
Like
8
we
a.m.
start.
Okay.
Yep.
but
So it
yeah,
starts at 8 a.m. But yeah, like so last year we got on private land. Or I guess you didn't go last year, opening day. But I started getting on private land with a couple guys, and I'll probably do that again this year. Just makes it easier. But it's
Yep.
so pressured around here. Years past, we went out to the field. We'd leave at midnight, and we'd sleep in our trucks to opening hour.
Yeah.
When they
Holy
get there.
smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how pressured it gets on opening day. in
Wow.
Iowa.
There's a couple fields that I've seen it where I've been there in the morning hunting, and I'll be like walking back to my truck, and a group of guys are like they're coming out walking just basically what I just walked.
Hmm.
Another vehicle's pulling in, so these guys are out like 50 yards in the field. Another vehicle pulls in, guys get out, start walking. It's just like a
Wow.
revolving door.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you probably, if you don't see people, you don't know what was hit that morning,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? So you could be
exactly.
walking something, 2 groups walked already.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's why we like to
Yep.
go travel. We got a few spots we like to travel to. Or
Hmm.
honestly, we've never seen anybody at the couple spots
Mhm.
out in Western Iowa that we liked. Never.
Yeah.
It's like back. It's actually kind of hard to find. It's back on these. Got to go down a couple gravel roads, down some highways, through some
Right.
small towns,
I get
Yeah.
confused with the map.
and you get way back in there. And yeah, I mean, we've had good luck every time we went there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Like there's this one that when you look at it, it looks like there's just a piece of grass in the front part of the land,
Hmm.
and if you look at the map, like you have to cross a pretty good sized creek, but there's like
No, I
one
don't think.
driveway to get through. If it's not flooded, you can get across it. And I don't
Gotcha.
know if anybody goes back there because
No,
man, we hit it. It is like, I mean,
it's
we
full
see
of birds.
bobwhite quail.
Lights out. Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it is.
Deer, everything's popping up. But I mean, we kicked
Yeah.
a couple bucks last year out of it. I don't think anybody knows or wants
Yeah.
to cross that ravine because
Right.
it's kind of tricky,
Yep.
and we do it every time, and every
Mhm.
time it has been
been
success
awesome.
for us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last year we just bought 20 gauges last year.
Yep.
Nice.
Can't hit a fucking thing with it. And I went last year, and so we talked about. I pull up to it. There's a field right here, and then there's like a cornfield. Then you cross that ravine, you go up. There's another cornfield, and then you get up to that other field. Right as we're going down, Diesel kicks up a rooster. Could see he was birdie. Thought I had it. Fucking missed it. Went
Yep.
was
Been
pissed
there.
off. Went
Yep.
down across the creek. I'm like, God damn it, Diesel's birdie again. Literally, he was like running in circles. So I'm pretty sure this bird was trying to give him the slip. Came back around. I shit you not. I got a couch sitting. I don't know. It's probably 8 feet in front of me here. Bird probably jumped up 8 feet in front of me. Missed that cocksucker too. Then I came back around, and Diesel was like on another one. I'm like, you be fucking kidding me. And he kicked up another one. Missed that fucker too. I went back to my truck. I missed all 3 birds
Just
with
back to the.
with that new gun. And luckily, I always take 2 guns. So I went back, pulled out the 12. I said, fuck this. Went to the next field. And then I wasn't even expecting anything to get up. Diesel's birdie right away. I'm like, oh, here we go. Probably going to miss again. Quail get up. I popped 3 of them bastards right there. One shot. Like, not one shot, but 3 shots. Get
Right.
quail. I'm like, so I can hit a quail, but I can't hit this fucking pheasant.
This big old bird. Yeah.
Big old bird, I can't hit it, but
Yeah.
I can hit these quail. So
That's funny. That's awesome.
yeah, so that 20 gauge, it's
Yeah.
still in my possession, but it's going to be retired, I think.
Right. I've got one of those guns. I got a 1969 Ithaca Model 37 pump. This is my grandpa's. I took that thing out, and I think I missed the first 5 birds, and I did the same thing. I got back to the truck. I grabbed my over-under, and then I went and shot some birds. But I've been there.
Oh, it's annoying.
So this year we both Tyler and I purchased the Browning A5 Sweet 16.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
I
Sweet.
am hoping that has no misses in it.
Right.
We're getting
Yeah.
out of the
Hopefully.
Pheasant
Doubt
Farm
it.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Take it out. Let's hope it's good.
Right. Do you guys do that often?
Just before season, mainly
Okay.
get the dogs back in gear, get us back in gear, get on
Yep.
something early, and
Yeah, it's a great way, like we talked about, getting dogs on birds. That's do it.
And that's
Get
the
them on
point,
birds.
I can Diesel. I mean, most dogs will chase dummies all day long. I mean, Diesel
Mhm.
will, but it's satisfying for those dogs to get that
Yes.
bird, and they get tuned.
Yep.
It's a different tune or different
Very
amped
different.
up
Yeah.
mode that they go into, right, when they get
Mhm.
on those birds. So yeah, Tyler and I bought we get 12 birds Saturday, so we're gonna
Nice.
have a pretty good time, and all the dogs should get some retrieves and some good work, and
That'll be awesome.
hopefully the 16 gauge works well.
Yeah, right.
also
That's exciting, getting try new stuff. That's cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Travis, we're about at an hour here, so
Yeah.
we appreciate you coming on, taking the
Yeah,
time
man.
to talk to
No
us.
problem. It was awesome, guys.
Great stories.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this year's probably not going to work for me just because my wife's pregnant, but hopefully in the
Yep.
near future we could connect, get a hunt in. Maybe that's even in South Dakota or we come up to
Yeah.
North Dakota. There's no need for you to come down to Iowa. It's not that good. So, but no, we really appreciate it and appreciate you
Yeah.
bringing conservation in and trying to get people hunting and giving them everybody advice. So
Yeah.
it's
No
awesome.
problem. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, hit me up for any info. I'll try and help you out as best I can.
Perfect.
Best of luck to you this season.
Yep, we
All
keep
right.
fleshing and dusting, man.
All right.
Later.
Have a good one, guys.